Happy Sunday and welcome back to a new video. So it's October, and what I really like to do in October is visit pumpkin patches. So it's only natural that I had to create one in Animal Crossing. And if I'm being honest, this was one of the most fun I've had designing something that ended up looking, in my opinion, really good, but also didn't feel too stressful. So here's me attempting a forest core pumpkin patch. So for the purpose of the sanity, I'm going to be skipping through a lot of the terraforming, well, more like speeding it up. But I'm just starting out by putting down some dirt paths. I also decided that as I go on in this build, I think I'm slowly going to be switching my paths over to the in-game paths rather than custom paths, just because I don't like how my island map looks so bare. So that's something I'm working on. And also, if you're new to my channel, my name is Yugi and I'm your average casual gamer, and lately I've been diving back into Animal Crossing. It's been a bit over a month now. But also, if you would like to watch my other videos and see the progress that I've been making with my island since restarting, you can find the playlist at the top and you can start wherever you like. Alright, so back to this one. So for now, my pumpkin patch is going to be starting quite simple, and the reason is because I couldn't wait to get to this. I wanted to do it in time for Halloween, but I haven't actually collected that many different kinds of fruits and vegetables. Well, I got all the fruits, but not all the vegetables yet in the game. So I think so far I have wheat, potatoes, and pumpkins, which I think works great for what I'm doing. So I'm just starting with these, but the land where I'm doing it continues much bigger. So over time I will be expanding on this little farm situation and continue by adding the different vegetables and just make it bigger and maybe change it up seasonally. Alright, so now I'm just putting down the path just to kind of give myself a bit of structure, because if you know me, I love structure, and my paths always kind of help me determine where things are going to be placed. So I just start with that. The pumpkin patch is also on the space of land that's closest to my house. I didn't want it to feel like it was quite outside of my house, but also close enough, just because I think it adds to the charm of just having like a very cozy house somewhere. So I'm putting down my pumpkins, and I actually wanted to kind of do it in rows just so you can clearly walk through it, because that's the point of a pumpkin patch. I wanted it to look a little bit more intentional rather than just pumpkins growing everywhere. So that's what I'm doing. I feel like with Animal Crossing, as much as I try to get inspired by reality, there's a limit to how inspired I can be, and at some point I have to work with the game mechanics to try and make things look, well, the way I want it to look. I am also starting out with mainly orange pumpkins for now. The reason is because I wanted the orange pumpkins to be on the darker dirt paths. And what I will be doing eventually, just to have some more random colors of like white, green, and yellow pumpkins, is I'm going to be putting down sand path in between, because I wanted contrast, but I think it would look really nice with the other shades of pumpkins that we have, and those would kind of just be in between, just kind of like looking a little bit scattered, a little bit more natural. And in order to do that, I'm going to just plant pumpkin stars, because then I know you can get a more random selection of colors for your pumpkins, and just maybe taking out anything that grows after orange and put in some other colors. So it's really a matter of patience. I am putting down wheat next because ideally I had this vision in my head that I was going to be having a pumpkin patch, and the other thing I love about pumpkin patches are corn mazes. But we don't really have corn in Animal Crossing, although it would be pretty amazing if they introduced corn as one of the plants you can have, since we do have such a big Halloween theme in the game. But for now, I'm using the wheat so that it can kind of like, you know, we can play pretend and imagine that it's corn instead. So I'm gonna have a row of that. I did have a whole plan to try and make it look like a maze, but maybe that's a project for a different day. Also, I wonder how you guys do it when you restart your islands, because the reason I restarted my island was because I really was committed this time to creating an island that feels really beautiful, very peaceful to me, hence my forest core theme, just because I love having trees around so much. I think it's my dream now to one day just live like maybe on a mountain somewhere surrounded by trees. But the thing is, I sometimes feel like the amount of work that it takes to build like really beautiful areas takes such a long time. And I know you could just like, you know, do it for like maybe 2 hours every day, but I can't really do that with my schedule. With my work schedule, I come out exhausted every time. So I don't really play as much during the week. I'll try to just like do more casual than this, and try to maybe just talk to the villages and go to the shops, just like very tiny things during the week. But the weekends are really the time when I have the time to really dedicate hours towards building this space. But if I'm being honest, last week I think I was feeling a little bit burnt out from putting too much creativity in the game and trying to, just because I was tired and I just didn't feel like doing anything big. So instead, and I actually posted the whole thing, I just decided to enjoy like a very chill day in my Animal Crossing. I also made the decision that whenever it rains in my game, that would be the perfect time for me to just get cozy and, you know, go with Cap'n to different islands, travel with the Nook Mile tickets, talk to my animals, just do fun things. Because rain for me is a really relaxing thing, at least when I'm home and I don't have to go anywhere. So I found that it became very important to take those breaks every so often and just kind of like give my brain a break. So that went great, because then I came this weekend ready to work on my farm, because that was the one thing, the other plan I had in mind was to work on a farm, and it just came out naturally. I just started putting down paths and putting down patterns, and it was just, you know, it was going so much better. So this one was a great build. I really did enjoy these builds. So, you know, let me know in the comment, how do you go about redesigning your islands? I know a lot of people do not like restarting. Well, to be fair, it took me years before I even got to the point of restarting. I had to stop playing for like maybe a year. And then I was like, okay, maybe I'm not so attached to my Animal Crossing anymore. Maybe I can restart the whole thing. But it is a lot of work. Like for this island, I have a hard time imagining myself restarting after this, just knowing the amount of time and effort that I've been putting into building it. So I think though eventually the game won't stop for me once I finish decorating everything just the way I like it, because you come across new items and you just get new ideas. So for me it becomes a very fun thing to maybe just take out sections that maybe I don't love so much anymore and make them even better, or try to do something new and something different. So I feel like it's going to be a process with this island, but I also feel like maybe it won't exist forever. So the other thing I have to check actually is I need to talk to Isabel and figure out my island evals, because as I was working on this farm and running around to get pumpkins from different spots of my island so I could make a farm, I think I saw a lily of the valley, and I'm pretty sure that's the only way you get it is when you get a 5-star, and that's how it was for me before. So I think I may have done it, though I doubted it. I really doubted, because Isabel kept telling me I have an overabundance of trees, her words, not mine, and that my animals were getting, well, my villagers were getting too lost. So I was shocked to see that. So I need to confirm if it's actually true. Did I get 5-star and that's why I have it, or is the game trying to tell me that now maybe it grows randomly after you play a certain amount of time, which I've been putting a lot of time into. For those of you who have been putting years into this game at this point, or just playing for a long time and collecting a whole lot of items and special seasonal items, how are you decorating your island for Halloween? Do you just put pumpkins around and a few decorations, or do you go and remodel just everything? Because to me, I was trying to think of how I would try to make my island look if I did a whole complete Halloween thing. And honestly, I think with my style, it would still look somewhat forest core, or if not, still have quite a bit of trees, just because I do love the forest kind of look to it when there's a lot of trees, and it just feels very natural to me. So I think I would just make a whole, like, maybe themes around witches in forests. First thing I'm thinking about here is maybe a Hansel and Gretel moment, and having the little spooky house in the middle of the woods, or just a bunch of stuff like that. And also, speaking of Halloween, something that I didn't really do before in this game, and I never actually even knew you could do, is the whole candy thing. Because when I played in the past, I'm pretty sure I played on Halloween maybe once. Although I love Halloween, I never really spent time playing on Halloween in the game. And it just makes me wonder, has the candy thing been around this whole time? Or is it something that came new with the update and the new DLCs? Because this time I think I'm having fun trying to collect candies every day so I can eventually share them with my villagers on Halloween. So that has been a lot of fun. But I'm also been, if I'm being honest, I've been a little bit disappointed because I haven't been getting as many Halloween themed DIYs in my message in a bottle as much as I would hope. It has really been, well, random is how like a lot of DIYs are, but I was thinking that maybe on Halloween or around this time in October they could kind of try to give us more Halloween message in a bottles around October, and I think I maybe only got 2. I got a third one, but it was a duplicate of the first one I got, so I wish there was more. I have also been trying to talk to my villagers more and go to their houses more, so maybe if they're working on something a little bit spooky, they can give me a recipe for it. So yeah, I'm trying to do my best this time around to kind of maximize on how to enjoy Halloween in the game and really how to get the most out of it. I also wish that more of my friends played Animal Crossing, especially now that I'm playing again, because I think it would be fun to kind of like do a bit of a trick-or-treating event on different islands. So, you know, maybe your friend comes visit and they come visit for Halloween, get a trick-or-treat, thing, and you can share, well, whatever you want really. But I think it would be really fun to like visit other people's island, and then like you can really see everybody's decorations, how they decorated. I personally love decorating and showing it to people afterwards because it's a lot of time and energy, and it gets exciting for me. So I just love sharing kind of like the world, or in this case the village I created, by decorating a little bit. So that would be really fun to do. I am in a few different groups for Animal Crossing New Horizons, and I'm hoping that maybe on Halloween there are other people who would also be interested in doing this thing, so I can just visit like a whole bunch of people's islands and just see what's up for Halloween. That'd be really fun, because surprisingly, even though a lot of us end up using very similar items, if not the same items that we get from Nook's Cranny and DIYs, everyone makes their island look so different when they're decorating, and it's just, to me, like it's insane how so different all the different islands can be, and how, like, well, we all work differently creatively, and it's just fun to see what others are doing too, you know. So that'd be fun to see. If you are decorating your island for Halloween, and on Halloween's day you want to have people come and visit your island, you know, let me know in the comments, and maybe we can all share our dodo codes together and try to organize a bit of a way to visit each of his islands and just kind of enjoy the Animal Crossing community together. Sadly, at the moment I do live in a big city, and although a lot of big cities do a lot for holidays, I haven't seen much decoration in the past few years for Halloween. It's actually been almost nothing. So to me, it just takes out the joy out of like seeing everywhere looks decorated and spooky and magical. Well, I do still love it for Christmas, but I would love to see it on Halloween too. So that's just why pumpkin patches and just like things like that, to me, feels very autumnal and very Halloweeny, spooky. So this year though, I can't really go to a pumpkin patch. I'm quite busy around this time, so you know, Animal Crossing is the next best thing I can do. So I'm really hoping in this way I can still take in the things I love doing on Halloween and how I like to enjoy. Because when I was in college, I used to very much enjoy dressing up and going to parties and all that stuff. But now it's more about getting cozy and decorating and just feeling the spooky spirit without necessarily having to put down too much energy. So the other thing I also wanted to do, and if you've been watching my forest goal videos for a little bit, you know that I've been mainly focusing on having cedar trees on my island. Well, I realized I kind of missed out on not putting down hardwood trees, because didn't think about it before, but I wouldn't get to see the leaves change around this time if I don't have hardwood trees. So for this reason, as I'm building this, I want to line up the side of the path with hardwood trees, because I just want to be able to see the colors changing and all that stuff. I also am hoping to get some more DIYs when it comes to making my island more autumnal, and I think a lot of those seasonal decorations can easily be switched out for more Christmassy decorations later in a few months, well, in 1 or 2 months really, because I can place other things in those spots and just like swap out a few things and completely change what season it's for. I feel like that's similar to how some people decorate their houses, and over years, you know, you have the same decorations and you know instinctively where they go because you've done it before, so everywhere kind of has a spot. So maybe that's what it's going to be decorating this island. However, I'm also trying to make sure it's finished. So you know what, maybe at the end of finishing and decorating this entire island, it might just look like all the seasons and all the holidays came to town, and it's just gonna have like dedicated spots for everything, just because that's how long it's been taking me. So now for the most exciting part, and that's the reason why I set up this pumpkin patch the way I did. I wanted to randomly place some of those pumpkin lanterns in between my fill, just to make it look like some pumpkins were carved, and you know, just like adding a little bit of spookiness, but make it feel all very natural. So that's what I'm doing. So at this point, I think what I'm going to do is I also want to place down some more hay. So I'm just DIYing some more so I can have it around my island, and well, not around the island as a whole, but around this location, just to really add to the whole. It's a farm, it's, you know, all hay, pumpkins, and cornfields. So I'm just gonna add this. I really like placing down the hay, especially, again, I say this word too much. I should be fine for saying this word so much, but contrast, just because I like how warm it looks, especially placed down on the dirt. So I think that looks really nice, and I'm gonna have it be next to trees. I'm still trying to figure out how to layer the trees and other plants on the left side of my island, because that one's supposed to look more like a bit of a foresty area, while the right is more like the land that was transformed into the farm. So that's the thing around it, because over time, and that's something I didn't do on my very first island, was I learned the reason why it's really important to kind of have dimension by playing with height and all of that in the game, because it makes it look so much more real and makes it feel so much more cozy that way, instead of having everything just be flat and leveled out, like on the same level. So that's what I'm trying to do by having, I guess, like a bit of dimension that way, so it feels more interesting, it feels more vivid. If I'm also being completely honest with you, I have to say that I didn't have a whole plan for this part of my island, other than I wanted it to be like a farm, pumpkin patch kind of thing. So that's why you see me kind of changing a lot of things I'm placing down. Like I changed my mind after, just because I think of something better, or I try to think of how to best feature it and make it look all come together. So yeah, that's what's happening. But at this time of filming and working on this part, I do have some items that I have no idea where it's gonna go, and the reason is because I've wanted to do this theme, this side, for so long. So my plan was essentially to collect a bunch of seasonal autumn, fall, or Halloween things that I could, so that I could really kind of use everything to make the space come together. I think the decoration really do a lot in making it feel like that, but I didn't know exactly where they were gonna go, so I was trying to keep in mind the different things I had, trying different things and trying to see, well, how can I make this farm come to life. I got this idea while visiting someone else's island, that there are some specific weed that you can use to just give it like a feeling of grass with flowers and dandelions in it, just so like there's more than just like 3 branches coming out of something. So I've tried a lot to do this, but I think I finally did it. Just selectively picking which one is going to grow and give it that bushier effect I'm looking for, and really in this sense using the weed kind of like more crops. So that's going fine. And since it's also a farm, very often when you go to a farm or a pumpkin patch, they have little stalls around where they sell their pumpkins, and they just sell like various things produced from their farms. So I'm going to try and find somewhere in this spot where I can maybe have stalls, maybe have the stalls look somewhat decorated, and it can look like whoever the farmer was, well, me, was trying to also sell some of the things they grew and harvested. So I'm gonna have the stalls. Unfortunately though, for the stalls, it's going to be the color of the basic ones you get in the DIY. And I realized this as I was working on this because I thought I had finished Tom Nook's customization class, but turns out I did not. I started it and then I had too many things to build, so I decided to do it later, and I still haven't done it, and I don't want to do it right now. So I think over the week I'm gonna finish it and maybe customize my stall so that the wood can be darker and maybe the colors can be more in theme with what I'm doing. So at this point I realized that I made a mistake, and I'm trying to grow some of my trees too close to the cliff. And the way that I laid everything out, if I move these trees I would have to move everything else. So doing the easy thing, just tearing down the cliff, and now my trees can grow. I'm going to have this be some sort of like a surprise pumpkin like display, because I have two items that I can't wait to use. One is the spooky arch, and the other one is a DIY for a spooky table. So that's the one that looks like a giant pumpkin that's been cut in half, and I think I'm gonna use these together to just kind of make it look like, oh, like a random giant pumpkin grew in the ground and now it's on display. So that's the best way I can think of using that, because I didn't really want to set it up as a table and put stools around. I just wanted it to feel more interesting than that. So that's what I'm going to be doing, and it's gonna have little pumpkins and bits of weed growing around it. Well, as much as the space can allow me, really. I think that in seeing how I decorate for Halloween, you guys are gonna be learning a lot about me and my personality, well, I guess my motivation. Because when I was decorating this in the game, I was realizing that the joy of decorating for Halloween for me comes from a way of sharing creativity, because I love it when other people see what I did, and you know, it's just like, it's fun. Like, I love seeing people's reaction to that. But in real life, so I live in an apartment building, and in my apartment building I do not have any sort of a balcony, or, well, it's a building, so I don't have a porch or anything like that. So it just took out the joy of decorating for Halloween, because I would like to decorate the inside more. I have like a little few bits and pieces around here, but I don't really have people around here to come over and everything. So it's kind of sad decorating and not having anybody see it. Well, other than my cat, I somehow turned into a cat lady in the past few years, but I only have one cat. Just is very only child kind of cat. So I think instead of decorating, what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna plan a Halloween outfit for my cat, so she can also partake in Halloween. So I put the one pumpkin down on my sand part of the farm, just because I want to remember how I'm going to space it out so I don't accidentally mess it up. And using this, eventually I'm going to swap out that one orange pumpkin I put down, but the goal is to get more stars so I can really set them down in that spot and just have them grow randomly. I am praying that most of those pumpkins that I'm going to put down there grow in any colors other than orange, because I really would like to see the mix of the different colors, and hopefully that will bring it out. I am also going to finally be placing down the stalls on these little stone patches of paths, so it can look like a dedicated space, and I can really have, you know, it kind of look like it's connected to whatever crop is growing in that area. And then you have the stall for it, just so you don't have to pluck it yourself. You can go to the stall and have the farmer do it for you. Well, we don't really have a farmer here, so I just kind of have to use our imagination a little bit. I really wanted to leave these trees here. Those trees were the fruit of a lot of labor, but it was always getting in the way. I think as I've been doing this, every time I have an idea, I put down another row of something, and that kind of builds up on the farm. But this farm's going to be a big farm. It's going to be the biggest farm eventually, not right now, but eventually the biggest farm I've ever made in Animal Crossing, because I have so many ideas for what to do when I do finally get the other crops. And I have one DIY that pertains to the vegetables, the crops right now, and that's the one of the basket of veggies. So those would be great on install, so I can't wait to have more. I could technically get it from other people, like treasure islands and all of that, but I don't know, like sometimes I've been finding it more fun to try and find them on my own, maybe by visiting little mystery islands or going with Captain or the Dodo Airlines and trying to find a Nook My Ticket island. That's how I got my potatoes, which I was able to put down. I found an island last week with just a whole lot of potatoes, and it was just perfect. I just needed something else. I think I'm missing carrots, sugarcane. I am missing, what else? Trying to think. Missing carrots. I'm missing sugarcane. Now I suddenly can't remember what else I'm missing. Am I missing anything, guys? So far I have wheat, pumpkin, and potatoes. So just missing, oh, and tomatoes. I'm missing carrots, sugarcane, and tomatoes. So I can't wait to get those, so I can also have them down in the farm, and it's going to look all great. The idea when I started this farm was really to put down fences, but the look of it without any fence has really been growing on me, because I think technically when you go to a lot of these farms, you don't see that many fences around vegetables. You see them around the perimeter, but that's mainly, I think, to keep animals out mainly, and maybe thieves, but mainly animals. So I wanted to put down fences, but the land is not that big. I don't want it to take that much of space, so building fences would either make it that I can have less pumpkin on those spaces, or that I need to go and make this project on a bigger scale. So I opted out to not have it, and I think I'm just gonna fill up the space where fences could have gone just by having decoration and now making it look more fun. The only fences I have is around the part where I have the arch, and I'm gonna have the giant pumpkin spooky table, and just because that one's supposed to look more of like an attraction, so maybe people come to the pumpkin patch to this one to see the biggest pumpkin ever grown that's still somehow not rotten. And for that one we do need a fence other than the entrance. So yeah, there you have it. This angle, I do have a little bit of space at the top left of the spot. It's the part where you see a lot of grass, and then there's a cliff. Well, originally this is where the staircase connected to my old house used to be there, and that took you all the way to the back beach of the island, where Red comes and sells his counterfeit art. But now I'm thinking I want to do something else in that area. I just want to put some more interesting attractions. So I started thinking maybe I need to do some makeshift shops in that area, and then they can be like shops that pertains to anything that's kind of like cozy, farm like, or maybe a little restaurant even. I don't know. I also had that library that I wanted to put down, make a little bookstore corner, just something that still appeals to the coziness, because that's what this area is all about. Well, that's what my island's all about, but I think this area has more coziness to it. But then maybe I could try to have a little bit of like a secret, not so secret passage where you can still access like a different path and go all the way to Reds, but still have it be around shops. I'm not exactly sure what it's going to be. I also had that one idea to kind of make it a spa, maybe use the glowing moss pond, which I do have in that area, and make like a little spa, like you just like a little bit more enchanted spa in that area. So I'm not sure yet, and I think what I'm going to do is just wait it out, try to collect more items and see what I get and how I can use them to inspire me. Because I think if I try to plan things out too much beforehand of what I want to do, it's a lot of stress and work of having to collect these items so you can make those things look the way you want it to. So I think for me it's coming down more to doing the best with what you have and trying to be creative in that way. And it has made the process more enjoyable, because then I get excited to go to Nook Shop every day and just see what they're selling. I just had Nook Shop's upgrade. I think it's the final upgrade, and it was exciting because now I have more seasonal items and more things that I can collect, so that should be interesting. I am hoping that maybe we can get some seasonal things too around Christmas time. I feel like I remember you could, so I'm hoping that you still can. Well, I still can, and that can help too. So we'll see. It's just, it's a progress. It's a test of patience. So now I'm building my stalls, and I also build my pumpkins. So my pumpkins are already now, and now I just have to figure out the stall. I know I'm gonna have one on each side, so I'm just gonna try to place this one down here and then place the other one and just try to have them both look cute with Halloween decorations around and just stuff on it. Because right now the color's not bad, it's not what I imagined though. So I time traveled a little bit, made sure the plants were all grown and the area was all decorated, and it's finally 6 p.m. ish, so I can finally show you what we got. So let's go on a little tour. I think it would be interesting, so I'm just gonna walk down the path so you guys can see what it looks like when you're just walking without seeing anything. And it's exciting because as soon as the trees grew, they are already starting to change color, which to me is just very exciting, and it just adds to the space so much. And honestly, I just love how all the decorations are glowing at night, and it just feels like I stepped into a whole different universe or something, and everything's spooky. And it wasn't even what I was expecting. I think seeing everything all grown is really something. So on this side, I have my potatoes because I just love potatoes to eat. I love eating potatoes. So yeah, I have potatoes, and in this little stall here, I have some wheat and more potatoes. I have my wheat over here, and we're just pretending that it's corn. My pumpkins, I finally got a lot of different colors, and I think I only had to swap out maybe one or two, and yeah, it's just it's looking perfect. I wasn't expecting it to look this good. I love those little pumpkins, spooky lantern decoration, because it's just so cute. The one I'm sitting on is actually the spooky stool, and it's the stool for the table that I have as the giant pumpkin attraction, but I decided to use it in a different place just so it can help the space come together. And of course, this stall here is a little pumpkin stall, so when you go to your pumpkin patch, you can buy your pumpkins and take it home with you. It's perfect. It's perfect for me. It's exactly what I think I needed to see for Halloween. And this hand card, I had it closer to originally my lake view is, and I just moved it because it's more fitting for a farm. My little hay bed where I can just lay down whenever I want to. I have some more little pumpkins growing, and I'm loving it. So it's very simple, if I'm being honest, but it is really exciting. I think I'm really excited to finally have it. I will be spending all my time here in the next 2 weeks until Halloween as I collect my candy. So on this note, I hope you guys enjoyed this little cozy pumpkin patch creation video, and I hope you're getting cozy with your games too, decorating for Halloween, and maybe we can all share what we're doing for Halloween on our islands. And well, yeah, let me know. I'm really excited to know. Can't wait. So on this note, I'm going to end this video here, guys. I hope you guys had as much fun as I did creating it, and I will catch you guys next time. As usual, make sure to subscribe if you like my videos and make your presence known in the comment. See ya!